All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. You may have missed this and you may not be into country music. I am into the classic country that came out in the 90s. A few bands from the 80s like Shenandoah come to mind, and Sawyer Brown. And there are a few others. Alabama, I was obviously into very early on. I remember telling my parents I wanted to buy an Alabama album. I was like 15, and they were like, "Really? And you understand that's country?" And I go, "Yeah, I really like it." So I added that to my collection. That band, by supporting them, I was on the cutting edge of something that was going to be really big. I had no idea. I just liked the band. I liked their sound, their harmonies, and they were a little bit more contemporary, a little bit less twang. So, in any event, I remember working at the record store in 1989, and this guy's debut album comes out, and we can't keep the dang thing in stock. And I'm thinking, who's Clint Black? And again, I listening to 80s pop and new wave and rock and so forth. And I put in the cassette, and I'm like, holy crap, Batman, this is good stuff. And I remember people in the store who were listening to the songs being played throughout the store. They were coming over, and they were asking about it. And people were saying, yeah, I don't even like country, but that's great. I want a copy of that. So, I was selling cassettes for Clint Black in 1989. Needless to say, he's back, and he's got a brand new album out, and it's probably the greatest title for an album in the year 2020. It's called Out of Sane. I have no more Sane left. Please show up tomorrow, and maybe I'll have some Sane then, but I doubt it. So this song comes out back on June 19th. Nobody's really paying attention to it. Why, you may say? Well, the tune is kind of a patriotic number. It's called America Still in Love with You, and patriotism is really struggling right now in the public square. All the ideas that are floating around out there right now, and patriotism ain't one of them. Now, I know there are some patriotic Americans still left out there, so maybe this video is more for you. Again, the album was released a while ago, and the first single back on April 24th, and the reception, obviously, over at country radio has been crickets. So that kind of music, even George Strait is having trouble these days. I know George is much older than Clint Black. Clint Black, I believe, about 58 years old, and I think George Strait is getting close to 70. George Strait's last album was phenomenal and sounded like something he could have put out in 1996 or something. It was just fantastic. And the same with this collection of songs by Clint Black. Again, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not here to change my channel to talking about old country artists, but every now and then I do, because this is the kind of music I was listening to back in the 1990s, when everybody had made their switch in their head. They're going, yes, I do like this 90s grunge music. Yes, I do. I will tell myself that Soundgarden is just as good as, whatever band I was listening to in the 80s. I can just make that transition. We needed to do it. No, we didn't need to do it. In fact, my solution, really, looking back on the 1990s, is why couldn't that music have coexisted? And in the marketplace of music and ideas, put them both forward and see which one survives. But they basically took one away and pushed the other one upon us. Country music was a refuge for me, and I really just soaked it all in. From about 1989 to about maybe 2000, 2002, right in there. And the format, again, started to change a little bit. And you were getting into some just non-traditional sounding country, some production that I thought really leaned more toward adult contemporary and took all of the country out of it. And then later on, you'd have this horrible thing called bro country, which would show up. And, you know, a lot of these artists that did really well, say in 1995, couldn't get the time of day by the year like 2004. So it was weird. Clint Black, though, a legend. He definitely deserves your time if you're a fan of music. And he sounds great. Again, about, I think, 58 years old. So he's not even really that old. And country radio could be playing his music even now, but that format has been, you know, pretty much co-opted. Some people say it's getting a little better over there. I'd have to sit and listen all day to find out if country sounds like country again, but when it doesn't sound like country, it's a disaster. And it's like, why play fairly good music all day and then destroy it with these songs that have nothing to do with country or just don't even resemble country music? But again, I digress, and I'm kind of alone on this, or I'm in the minority, because if I were in the majority, right, then you'd hear more country-sounding country. Apparently, you give the people what they want, and the people don't want traditional country like they used to. Either that, or they've been brainwashed into thinking that the music they're listening to is country, and there's a good chance it's probably not really country. So, in any event, I'm a big fan of Clint Black, and I figured I'd put this out there. I know it's, you know, what do they say, $1 short, a day late and $1 short, but I did it anyway. So there you have it. Clint Black, his new album, it's called Out of Sane. Best album title of the year 2020. Totally fits the mood of most of the world right now. And even if you don't like this stuff, you should check it out. All right, I am done. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.